Welcome to The Explainer. So, CES 2026 just wrapped up. And let me tell you, it wasn't really a tech show, it was more like a declaration of war. A chip war. And honestly, the future of, well, just about everything is hanging in the balance.
Yeah, you can forget all the flashy new gadgets and shiny toys for a minute. The real story at CES was a strategic showdown for the very foundation of our digital world. And the weapons being used? They're these tiny, microscopic marvels of engineering, silicone chips.
So, what does this whole high stakes game of silicon chess actually mean for you? Well, it's not just about the future of AI or robotics anymore. It's about the future of your investments, especially with the market hitting these fresh records. Okay, let's break down the battle plans of these three tech titans who are all vying for dominance. First, we have to set the stage because the shockwaves from CES hit the market almost instantly. And, the results were nothing short of historic. On January 9th, the S&P 500 didn't just climb, it absolutely surged, smashing through old records and pushing right up towards that 7,000-point mark. And it wasn't just the S&P. The Dow and the Nasdaq also hit new peaks. But here's the kicker. This wasn't some kind of broad market rally lifting all the boats. No, this was a tidal wave, and it was being driven by one single, incredibly powerful force, the semiconductor sector. Analysts are starting to call this the silicon backbone. And the idea is pretty simple. If you think of the global economy as this giant skyscraper, the semiconductor industry has basically become this steel frame that's now holding the entire thing up. It's really that fundamental. So, who are the architects of this new reality? All right, let's start with the undisputed heavyweight, the reigning king of the silicon jungle, Nvidia. Now, in a move that I'm sure sent some shockwaves through the gaming community, Nvidia basically pivoted away from its consumer roots. They are going all in on the data center with their absolutely revolutionary Vera Rubin platform. And you got to understand, this isn't just about making your video games look prettier anymore. This is about building the brains for the robots that are going to build your cars, the drones that'll deliver your packages, and, the automated systems that will eventually run our cities. To put what you're seeing here in perspective, the jump from their last chip Blackwell to this new Rubin GPU, it's like going from a horse-drawn carriage to a supersonic jet. I mean, it is a quantum leap in performance. It's designed to handle the kind of AI that can write novels, compose symphonies, and maybe even design the next generation of chips itself. NVIDIA's strategy here is, well, it's brilliant in its simplicity. They're not just selling you the ingredients anymore, they're selling you the whole darn bakery. It's an AI factory in a box that can churn out these incredible AI models at a fraction of the cost. And with a customer like Microsoft already signed on, they're not just selling a product, they're selling a revolution. But of course, Nvidia isn't the only player in this high-stakes game. AMD is mounting a really clever counteroffensive, and they are definitely not playing by Nvidia's rules. So AMD's answer to Nvidia's AI factory is something called Helios. It's a powerhouse of a platform, and it's all driven by their next-gen MI455X GPU. And this is where it gets interesting. While Nvidia is building this sort of walled garden, a beautiful but totally closed ecosystem, AMD is out there planting a forest. It's an open, collaborative environment where basically anyone can come and play. So think of it like this. If AI is a car, then these tokens are the fuel. AMD is betting that by offering more fuel for your money, they can win over big customers, like Meta, who are probably getting a little tired of paying NVIDIA's premium prices at the pump. And then, of course, there's the comeback story of the show, Intel. Intel's new Panther Lake processors are pretty impressive, sure, but the chip itself isn't even the biggest part of the story here. The real news is the technology that's lurking just beneath the surface. See, this is the very first product built on Intel's groundbreaking 18A process. Now, what does that mean? Well, in simple terms, it's a completely new way of building chips that's smaller, faster, and way more efficient than anything that's come before. This is truly a make-or-break moment for Intel's ambitious plan to become the king of chip manufacturing. Again, and the market's response? It was absolutely electric. You can see it right here. Investors, who were clearly excited by the successful launch and some pretty strong political backing, sent Intel's stock soaring. It was a huge signal of their belief that the sleeping giant of the semiconductor industry has, well, finally woken up. Okay, so after all of these huge announcements, what does this all boil down to? What are the key takeaways for you as an investor? The landscape has really clarified.
The clear winners are the companies that can execute on manufacturing, the ones that dominate the AI ecosystem, and those that control critical components. Now, on the other side of that coin, you have the PC makers, and they're facing a serious squeeze as the hype around the AI PC starts to cool and the cost of memory just skyrockets. This situation is creating what analysts are now calling a memory supercycle. Okay, imagine a world where there's a sudden, massive demand for a single ingredient, like, say, sugar. The price of sugar would go through the roof, right? The companies producing sugar would make a fortune, while the companies that make candy would see their profits just completely shrink. That's exactly what's happening in the world of computer memory right now. So how do you play this? Well, the smart money isn't just betting on the big three. It's diversifying into the entire ecosystem, the companies that provide all the essential building blocks for this AI revolution. You know, it's like a gold rush. You don't have to be the miner to get rich. You can be the one selling the shovels. So, as the dust settles from CES, we're left with a kind of new world order in the semiconductor industry. It's a tripolar world, with these three giants all battling for supremacy. The big question is, who's going to win the race to power the next decade of AI? The answer is far from certain. But one thing is absolutely clear: the chip war has just begun.